Hi there. Hey, could I interest you in some coffee or some hot chocolate? Shouldn't be too cold out tonight, but maybe, something warm to wrap your hands around. If this were summertime, I'd be trying to sell you some lemonade or maybe some ice cream. I'm here in our little town square year-round, selling whatever the season calls for. 4th of July, I've got sparklers and balloons, and Christmas time, I've got star beamers and hot chocolate. And, well, the other perk I get here is, besides the fresh air and the exercise, is I get to meet people, people from all over the town. I get to meet the people that come here for lunch in the afternoons, or from the hospital just up the road there, people that come just to take a break from their shift. And then I get people coming for nights like tonight where we've got our annual Christmas extravaganza. People come from all over to watch this.
Of
You know, that's right. Those songs just say Christmas to me, don't they? Don't they say Christmas to you? I think those were the very songs we were playing that night years ago when something amazing happened. We were having our Christmas pageant, and the little boy that was supposed to be the drummer boy, 8-year-old if I remember, didn't show up for the pageant that night. Something to do with a Lego up his nose, or I don't remember the exact details, but anyways, there was a woman and her son that came out of the bus station just across the square there. They looked lost, confused, and I noticed them kind of wandering about, and the stage manager for the pageant noticed them at the same time too. He went across to that woman and asked if her son could stand in for the little drummer boy. He was about the right size, and the costume would fit, and all he had to do was stand there and pretend like he was playing the drums. Well, she was taken a little aback. I mean, she's new to town and all, and hadn't been here before, and she was here because she'd read about a surgeon in our town that did surgeries for her son, or that her son could use. Her son was deaf, and the surgeon could do cochlear implants. Those are all pretty common now, but back then they were experimental. And of course, insurance companies then, as they are now, really want to play with experimental surgeries, so they turned her surgery requests down. Well, she quit her job, dropped everything she had, took the money she had, bought bus tickets to come to our little town here, and she came, not knowing where she'd get the money, how she'd meet the surgeon. Basically, like Mary and Joseph, she came on faith that when she got here, God would be here.
Sometimes faith will bring you to trust a promise that's illogical. Sometimes faith will lead you to cling to hopes that seem impossible. So often faith looks foolish, a leap into the dark. But that's not how it is for the believing heart. 'Cause when all your dreams have fallen through and your plans come crashing in on you, don't lose hope no matter how it seems. 'Cause faith will hold you closer. Faith will keep you safer. Faith will take you farther than you dream. Doubt will always whisper, there's no one there to catch you when you fall. Fear will try to rob you of any chance to see a miracle. So trust the one who loves you, whose word won't let you down. 'Cause resting in his grace is where your strength is found. And when all your dreams have fallen through and your plans come crashing in on you, don't lose hope no matter how it seems. 'Cause faith will hold you keep you safer. Faith will take you farther than you dream. Oh, when all your dreams have fallen through and your plans come crashing in on you, don't lose hope no matter how it seems, 'cause faith will hold you closer. Faith will keep you safer. Faith will take you farther than you dream. Oh, farther than you dream. Farther than
You know, there was someone else on the square that night, newspaper man. Years of covering the cruel and ugly things that people do to one another had really taken a toll on him. The fact that his wife had become a follower of Jesus made it worse. It seemed like the more she believed, the less he believed God existed at all. And just that day, it seemed to have even gotten worse. It seems like if God was really there, he wouldn't heap all this heartache and pain on him. But he wouldn't admit it. But he was looking for something, just like the shepherds. He wouldn't say he was seeking salvation, but like the shepherds, God brought him to the right place. So I've told you about the woman, the little boy, and the reporter. There was at least one other person that played into this story. Someone who was also facing a crisis. She was involved in the Christmas program. You know, she loved to sing, and she loved Jesus, and even though her schedule was pretty demanding, she managed to carve out time every year for the Christmas choir. Her name was, let's just call her Mary. She was going to be the mother of Jesus that night at the program. That night, or that morning, she'd been diagnosed with breast cancer. She'd only told her husband about it. She didn't want anybody else to know. She didn't want the focus of that night to be on her. She wanted to remain on the message in the program. So she smiled as if nothing were wrong, sang like she always did, even though she knew in the days ahead she'd be facing surgery, chemo to save her life. So there they were, 4 people, desperate mother and her son, a reporter looking for faith, hope, and meaning, and a woman clinging to the God that she'd recently come to know and love. Somehow God had brought them all together at the manger. I'd say deliverance is exactly the right word to describe what each of these people I told you about needed. After the scene at the manger was over, Mary took the little drummer boy by the hand, make sure he got back to his mother. Of course, the women began to talk, and the need for the boy's cochlear implant came out. Mary listened intently for a few minutes and then disappeared into the crowd. Now that reporter, well, he followed Mary to find out what was going on. He had to track her down. See, he knew her better than anybody else. Mary was his wife. As it works out, the schedule that she kept that was so busy was as a celebrated surgeon at the local hospital performing cochlear implants for young boys and girls. So, the husband approached her and asked her, what are you going to do? And she said, well, I'm going to give that boy that surgery. And he said, even if it means giving up the opportunity to get your surgery and your chemo on track, you would perform the surgery for him. Well, she turned it right back around on him and said, what are you going to do? You have the ability to mobilize an entire community, get these people behind this mother and her son, write this story, and help these people out. Well, basically she put it back in his lap and just asked him, what are you going to do? Well, the lessons of that Christmas Eve program still echo in this town. The doctor did postpone her own surgery long enough to give that boy his surgery. She donated her skills and time as a gift of compassion and love. Her husband, cynical reporter, he wrote the story just the way it happened. And because he wrote the story just the way it happened, the town did come together. They gave every penny needed for that boy's hospital care. In the end, he was able to hear. Yes, the story is well known in these parts. People refer to it as the miracle on the square. Maybe that's because that's the title I gave it when I wrote it for our local newspaper. Funny thing is, to me, the biggest miracle was how God, working through the hearts and lives of all these other people, helped break down the walls of hate and hurt that lived in my heart. It was truly a miracle. What happened to the doctor? My beautiful wife. She had the surgery. God healed her. I retired from the newspaper business a few years back, and now I spend all the time I can here in our little square selling trinkets and hot cider and hot chocolate. And all the money I get goes to helping kids that need these surgeries, can't afford to pay for them themselves. Maybe tonight you're hoping to be delivered. You've got a need you're praying God will help, like the mother and her son. Or you have a physical need like the doctor, and hoping God will come and heal you. Or maybe like me, you just needed God to come close and show you His love and His grace. The whole Christmas story is about God coming near and being present, reaching out and helping people like you and I when we most need it. If you open your heart and let Him, God will make this the best Christmas for you that you've ever had. If you just open your heart and let Him, He'll come near.
Of a Thank you so much for that reception. Thank you so much for this evening. Thank you for being here. We've hoped this has made your Christmas just a little special this year. The latter part of our Mr. Mills reading had to do with about God coming closer to you this year. This is my prayer, the prayer of the choir when we started this. We wanted this to be a special. Christmas is special anytime. It's just a special time of year. I've told the choir this before. My favorite secular song, one of them, is Elvis Presley. Why can't every day be like Christmas? And it really could. But let me ask you something. Our vendor posed this to you tonight. If you're here tonight, and you just want a closer walk with God this year. Our pastor talked about this morning. He talked about this. Several things he wanted us to do this year for Christmas. And this was one of them. Seek God. Put him first in everything. And not only will Christmas be special to you, the rest of your life will be special to you. So many people to thank. So many. If I leave out anybody, choir, please help me, okay? First of all, we don't do this enough. Church of Williams, I want to thank you, the Church of Williams. Well, why? Let me tell you why. You furnish the money and the funds through your tithes and your offerings to buy the music that we sing every Sunday, and we put on these special programs. Now, I know this choir well, and they'd probably go out and buy their own music. Maybe except for a couple sitting on the back row. I don't know. They're pretty, a couple of tightwads back there. But thank you for what you do for our music ministry and our ministry here with your tithes and your offerings. Well, we always start in the top. I say this with all sincerity. I don't know what we'd do without those sound guys, Mike and Chris. Mike and Chris, they do so much. They make it so, make us sound a little, just real good. Mike and Chris, God bless you guys. Thank you up there. Let's give these guys a big hand. Okay. Thank you. Last minute addition was Mary and Joseph. It was just one of the choir members thought, hey, you know, we're singing about come to deliver me. What a better way. The Turners, thank you. Where y'all at? In the back. Let's give these two folks a hand. Great hand. Last minute addition. Well, this is for our church and for our visitors. What you see in this beautiful sanctuary has been with us for about 2 or 3 weeks. We have a young lady in our church that thinks she's the decorator. I know she's the decorator. She put all this together a couple weeks ago for our hanging of the greens, the trees and everything. One day, before we left for Nashville, about 2 days, I just told her what we would really like to have in the way of a scenery. So I took her over to Buford's little place over there, and he had this little wagon. Well, Buford's wagon turned into this. Most beautiful thing I've ever seen alive. Now, the light belongs to me. That right, Deb? Let me tell you, folks, she's a blessing to our church. She's one of those behind-the-scenes people. Deb English, I want you to stand. I want you to stand so everybody see you. Come on, come on, come on, come on. This is Deb. Thank you, Deb. Thank you, Deb. Thank you so much. If you want to see the rest of her work, just walk to the church when you get through. It's just gorgeous. Now, that's not what it's about, but it sure does help, okay? Thank you. Special person in our life, in my life, and she does such a great job. Well, folks, this man right here, he was born to play Mel the Vendor. I'm just going to call him Mel the Vendor because I have a hard time with that last name. Okay? Mel, this guy here, he took this script and the choir said, well, we don't know what he's going to say. Well, I don't know what he's going to say. He took the script and made it his own. He Mel the Bender. Okay? Mel, God bless you. Give this man. You've heard the saying that certain people were made and born to sing a particular song. Well, I found out tonight that Mary Oliver. I get emotional. I'm just a big old teddy bear. Mary Oliver was born to sing the song she did. And faith with it. Remember, we're going to do that again in church. I mean, this won't be the last time. This is the first time the choir heard it. They kept saying, when are we going to hear the solo? I said, on the 20th, and not when I hear it. I haven't heard it. The only one that's heard it is Marilyn and George and Mary. Wow. I didn't listen to her practice. I didn't know where she started getting a little scratchy throat, and I just went off to Nashville and prayed about it. I got home, there was a call. Her number was on my phone. I ain't going to call her back. But I've said this once, and I'll say it again. We have two, if not the finest accompanists I know in Calhoun County, and I'm just not sure as many folks that do what they can do, what they do on the piano and organ to a program like this. George and Marilyn, two of the finest people in the world, and two of the finest companies. Do not know what I'd do without these two people. And I'm going to fess up, I do not know what I do without these two people. They work hard and they put a lot into there, even on Sunday, everything. They're very particular about what to do. Okay? Let's give it up for Marilyn and George. Here's for George. I just tore George up. I told him good old War Eagle. Oh, my goodness. Well, I've been here a long time, and some of you visitors may not realize I've been here quite a while. Somebody asked me how long I've been here, and I said, it's according to who you talk to. Maybe some say too long, you know what I mean. You, as a church, Williams Baptist, have one of the finest, once again, if not the finest sanctuary choir anywhere around here. I'm telling you, these people work hard. This was about a 40-minute program. We've worked a long time on this program, and it's not because of them, it's because of the director. I had to learn it, and then I had to teach it to them. Then they taught it to me. But every Sunday, now it's not all about their singing either. It's about their faithfulness. It's about their want to. They push me. They want things right. And I want them right, but I don't. Sometimes they just push me, and I like that. If you look in this choir, there's Sunday school teachers. There's deacons. There's women that work in the kitchen. There's women that work in our nursery. Just look through it as nurses. And what do you do now? You retired? Okay, nothing. That's what I thought. How'd you get in this choir? Well, I don't know. He just showed up one night and started practicing with us. But folks, let me tell you, I am so proud. I'm proud to say, I am the minister of music at Williams Baptist Church, but I'm so proud to say, I'm so proud to say, I'm the minister of music for one of the finest choirs anywhere. Choir, God bless you. Let's give it up for them. Thank you. Oh, wow. Only you, folks. Thank you. Thank you. Is Scott and Angie here? Scott and Angie, did they make it? They were going to try to be here tonight from the Joy bookstore. Something must have happened. They might have something to church. We got a lot of guests tonight. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it so much. Glad to have our son Pat. Pat came over. He's off for a couple of weeks from his quartet, and he's over in Georgia with it. He drove over tonight to be with us, and I'm proud that Pat could be with us. And he'll. Oh, by the way, Christmas Eve night, 6 o'clock. Is that right, Mike? 6 o'clock. We're going to have communion, Christmas Eve communion. A lot of hustle and bustle on Christmas Eve. I know that. Well, my wife does. I just sit back in amazement watching. But it's a busy day, busy night. But let me ask you to do this. Take a little time to come be with us 6 o'clock on Thursday. Is it Thursday? On whatever Christmas Eve is. When is it? That means Christmas on the 25th then, right? Just come worship. It's more than communion. It's worship. And I'll just go ahead and say, Pat, Pat's going to be singing for us that night. And we're just going yeah, that's my wife's boy right there. That's my wife's boy. But come be with us, communion, and it'll be a blessed time for you. I'll assure you that it'll be a blessed time. Just to get together and fellowship and then take communion together as a church and a family. And thank you so much. I invite you to be here. Now, if some of you are here and visiting, if you don't really have a church home, I'm not proselyting. I'm just doing a little PR work. I know a good church. You're here tonight. Most of you are in church, and that's where you need to be in your church. But if you're looking for a church home, looking for a place to visit, you're always welcome at Williams. I want you to know that. These doors are always open, because I usually unlock them. So they're open. Well, along with everything else, we've got probably one of the finest pastors anywhere around here. And I so much love Mike Oliver. I love his support for our ministry. He just lets us go and sort of do what we want to every now and then. He might suggest something I don't particularly listen to, but he will suggest. Mike, and we're talking about, if you're here tonight and there's a decision, you know, if you just want somebody to pray with you, I'm going to get serious just a moment, okay? If you're here tonight and you just want a special Christmas, if you've got a hurt, if you've got a need tonight, if you'll just come down here and myself, our pastor, Randy, and we got deacons and Sunday school teachers will certainly be glad to meet with you and pray with you. We'll go to the back and then pray with you. So this is just an invitation. If you want to do that, if you don't, just pray to yourself. I want to ask our pastor, Pastor Mike Oliver. It's been a great night. God bless you for coming. Man, I appreciate this church. I love you so much. Brother Mike, if you would come and dismiss us in a word of prayer.
Brother Mike, before you do that, I wasn't asked to do this, but I just can't let this go by. This little round man right up here, he means so much to this choir, and so faithful to direct it. And he does a lot more in this church than direct this choir. He's one of the best visitors we have for sick folks and those in need. And I think we just got to stand and give him an ovation.
Jim beat me to the punch, but I wanted to say just briefly, I was reflecting about Roy. When I came here as pastor about 14 years ago, one of the things I did was meet with the staff that we had. Of course, Roy was here, and Roy met with me, and he said, you know, if you want me to, I know you're new, and then new pastor comes in, things change, that I will step aside and you'll look for somebody else. And I can honestly say Roy is one of my best friends, a Christian friend. And I have had the great privilege for the last 14 years and the great blessing to be able to work with a man who loves God, he loves Jesus, he loves this place in Williams, and he loves leading music. He loves music. And he's not only skilled and talented and can organize and do all the hard work of working with the choir and getting all this together, but he loves what he's been called to do. We're very blessed to know you, Roy, and thank you so much, choir. What a wonderful night we've had. What a wonderful night. He's asked me to lead the benediction, and what I'd like for us to do, I feel like that everybody probably has some things on their own hearts that they'd like to pray about tonight. You're here in the sanctuary in the season of Christmas. So I'm going to ask you to do a couple of things. One is, we've not said thank you to the one that really deserves the most thanks of all, and that is Jesus. That's God. God sent His Son. That's what we're celebrating at Christmas. And I'm going to ask you in just a little time of private prayer in your heart, in the sanctuary here that we're worshiping in, to bow in a few moments of silence and just say your own words of thanks. And also to remember one of the great carols in the little town of Bethlehem. It said, in that dark night, the light shined when Jesus was born, and all the hopes and all the fears of our lives were met in that cradle, in that place that night. So I'm just going to ask you, if you would, in a time of silence, to pray in your heart to God. Tell God thank you for the gift of Jesus. And whatever hopes you have tonight, and whatever fears you brought with you tonight, give those to the Lord tonight in His place, in His home, in this house of prayer. Let us bow now. It is in the name of Jesus that we worship, we sing, we serve, we pray. Amen. Thank you for being here.